In this lesson we're going to take the multiplying out brackets a wee bit further and look at what happens when there's multiple values of m squared and sometimes p's and q's, and then we look at how to do it with the area of rectangles and things. Okay, so let's look at the first example here. We're doing p plus q times p plus q, and the first thing that strikes you is there's no numbers here. But we just use the same technique and do the same things and use our algebra techniques to deal with letters times letters. So let's have a look. P times p comes first, so that's easy enough, p squared. We're then doing p times q, and in algebra when we do p times q we just write it as pq. Next, moving on to the q, so q times p, you could write it as qp, but I've got a pq here and I'm just going to rearrange it to make pq as well. And finally q times q makes q squared. So it doesn't really matter which way around you've got the letters in algebra. 2 times 3 and 3 times 2 are exactly the same. So p squared, I can now collect the pq's up. I've got one of them and I've got another one, so I've got 2 pq's and then I've got a q squared at the end. Okay, moving on to the next one. So instead of having an x at the start, we've got an x squared, so we're doing x squared times x. So that's like x times x times x, which is actually x cubed. Then we're doing x squared times 1, which is x squared. We're now moving on to the negative 3, so negative 3 times x is take away 3x, and then negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. The signs are different, so we get a negative answer. So we've got cubes, squareds, x to the power 1s if you like, and 3s. You can't do anything with that, you cannot simplify. You don't have two of the same thing. You don't have two lots of x squares or two lots of x's to collect up. Okay, moving on to the next one. So we've got 3m squared plus 2 times m minus 1. Again, I'm going to just draw my wee lines in, probably badly with a mouse, but you'll be much better with your pencil. And 2 times m, 2 times negative 1. Right, so same as before, again, just treat this m as a 1m. Do the numbers first. So I'm doing 3m squared times 1m. 3 times 1 is 3. M squared times m is m cubed, so that goes to 3m cubed. 3m squared times negative 1, that's negative 3m squared. 2 times m is 2m. And positive 2 times negative 1, signs are different, so it's a negative answer, it's negative 2. Okay, we've got cubes, we've got squareds, we've got m's, and then numbers. There's nothing you can do with that to simplify. Okay, last one here. Again, draw your wee lines in to help you if you need to. I always think it helps. It just gives me an order of doing things. Okay, so I'm doing y squared times y squared. So that's y times y times y times y. That's y to the power 4. Y squared times negative 5 is negative 5y squared. 3 times y squared is a plus 3y squared. And plus 3 times negative 5. So signs are different. Negative answer is negative 15. So just this wee bit in the middle to deal with. These are the same terms, so I've got y squareds and more y squareds, so I can collect them up. So y to the power 4 stays the same. Negative 5 add 3, so that's getting closer to the 0. So negative 5 add 3, it's going forward, gets to negative 2 y squared, and then I take away 15 to finish off. Right, finally, sometimes you see problems like this where it says calculate the area in terms of the letters. You don't actually have numbers there, but we can use some algebra to create an expression that would represent the area if there was numbers to put in. So area of a rectangle is just length times breadth, so you just do length times breadth, and then your length and breadth, just use the brackets like that, and then just multiply them out. I'm not going to go through how to multiply this out because we've done it in earlier lessons, but that's the idea to get it started. The same in the second one, this pink rectangle, area is length times breadth, so you just take your two brackets and you times them out to get your answer.